Assalamu alaikum. This is Wahida. Welcome to my video. Today I am going to talk about second best solution to moral hazard. In many real life situations, the employer can't observe how much effort the worker is putting in. This creates a problem called moral hazard. So the question is, how can the principal design a contract or wage schedule so that the agent still works hard even though the effort can't be observed? This is called the second best solution because the first best would be if effort were observable. So what is moral hazard? Moral hazard occurs when one party takes less effort or more risk because another party can't directly observe their behavior. So, an example can be a worker may slack off if the boss can't see their work. An insured person may take more risks because the insurance company bears the cost. Why it matters? Because it reduces efficiency and profits. So, there is a solution: contracts with incentives to align the agent's interest with the principals. To keep things simple, we assume two effort levels available. One is low effort and the other is high effort. Low effort means EL is equal to 0, shrinking or not working. And high effort means EH is equal to E, which is greater than 0, which means actually working. The principle is risk neutral, means it cares only about expected profit, and the agent is risk averse, dislikes uncertainty, and needs incentives to take risks. So, goal of the principle is design a wage schedule that motivates the agent to choose high effort EH instead of shrinking. So now we can see the principal's optimization problem. The principal chooses a wage schedule W pi that depends on outcomes or profits. So the objective is maximize expected profits but must satisfy two constraints. One is participation constraints and the other is incentive compatibility constraint. The participation constraint is the agent should be willing to accept the contract better than outside option. And the incentive compatibility constraint is the agent must prefer high effort EH over shrinking. These two constraints ensure that the agent accepts the job and actually works hard. Now we'll see the Lagrangian method. The principal sets up a Lagrangian function combining expected profits, which is the objective, participation constraint, and incentive compatibility constraint. By solving first order conditions, we find the optimal wage schedule. The wage needed to induce effort is higher under asymmetric information than under symmetric information. So we can see the result for asymmetric information and symmetric information. So here lambda is for symmetric information, which is our first best solution. Here effort is observable. So principal only needs to pay the minimum wage to keep the worker at high effort. And the other part with mu, this is our asymmetric information. So We need second best solution where effort is unobservable. Principal must design a performance-based wage schedule. So wage under asymmetric information is greater than wage under symmetric information. So it is more costly to induce effort when the principal can't see the agent's effort. Here we have a graph which is effort versus wage. In x-axis we can see effort and in y-axis we can see the wage. So there are two lines or curves. One is for symmetric information and other is for asymmetric information. So we can see from the graph that lower wage needed at high effort since effort is observable and higher wage needed for the same high effort. So gap between the two lines is extra cost of asymmetric information. So the principal is less willing to demand high effort when effort is hidden because it costs more in wages. Intuition behind the results. Positive effect of high effort increases likelihood of higher profits, which aim to good for the principal. And negative effect of high effort to make the worker choose high effort, the wage must be higher, costly for the principal. Therefore, under symmetric information, principals easily induce high effort. And under asymmetric information, principals may sometimes accept lower effort because the cost of motivating high effort is too high. So we can say when effort can be observed, the principal designs a wage scheme that still motivates worker but at a higher cost. So the key takeaways are high effort is profitable but harder to induce under asymmetric information. Workers get higher wage under asymmetric information compared to symmetric information. And the principal balances profit versus incentive cost. This explains performance-based pay, bonuses, and incentives in jobs where effort is not directly observable. Thank you, viewers. Thank you all.